My question to you is A, does the Constitution apply and its protections of the Bill of Rights apply to non-citizens living in the United States or in the state of New York, the ones that you represent?
Yes, the First Amendment applies. The right to free speech.
Oh boy, we got to talk about this little segment here because this makes absolutely no sense to me. Where do you hear this line of reasoning? All right, guys, we are back. Carlton Flowers here with the Go Political Channel. And in this one, in the continuing series covering this ridiculous interview with New York Attorney General Laticia James, Big Tish, we're going to talk about immigration and react to some of the statements that she's made here that I just don't understand. And it brings up a very important question that I'd love to hear your thoughts about. So we're just going to start here, and then we're going to also react to her statements about being threatened, because I think there's some real irony here. So we're going to cut to the video and chop this up really quick. And like I said, I want to hear your opinion about this. So let's just get this started.
My question to you is A, does the Constitution apply and its protections of the Bill of Rights apply to non-citizens living in the United States or in the state of New York, the ones that you represent?
Yes, the First Amendment applies. The right to free speech. And we cannot use alleged civil rights violations as a means to undermine academic freedom.
Okay, let's stop right here. Did you just hear what she said? So the Constitution applies to people from other countries. Is that right? Civil rights and constitutional rights. So the Constitution applies to the world. So it doesn't matter if you're from Israel, Palestine, Russia, South America. The Constitution of the United States applies to you? Now, what if you went to Russia and you're a U.S. citizen, you're not a citizen there, and you protest against things that the Russian government is doing? Do you think that the Russians are going to apply their protections to you? If you went to a South American country or a Middle Eastern country, do you think that their laws and rules that protect their citizens are going to apply to you? So we're the United States, but apparently we're providing protections to everyone in the world. So now the world is our jurisdiction. Well, let's continue on and hear what else she has to say here.
And the freedom of speech. And so, there's possibly a case that will be brought either this week or next week by the attorneys general, because students at some CUNY campuses, City of University, and SUNY campuses, State University of New York, whose visas have been revoked.
Yeah.
And they have done absolutely nothing.
Okay, I call BS on that. They've done absolutely nothing? Really? So anyone can come here from a foreign country and protest and speak negatively about the United States government and interpret our laws and rules and have no consequences. So I invite you, Big Tish, to go to Russia and then speak your mind about their laws and rules, and then see how much freedom of speech that you get. Why is it that this doesn't work anywhere else in the world, but we invite everyone around the globe to come into the United States and say whatever disparaging remarks you want to say, including protesting, and violent protesting, but we're supposed to cover them under freedom of speech and give them constitutional rights? That's an interesting concept. Let's move on.
Some of them have not even engaged in any protest at all. They've not written any op-eds at all. They've just been revoked. simply because of their status.
I don't believe that for a minute. Show me proof of the people who just came here minding their business and got revoked for no reason whatsoever. I don't believe that.
And so we are considering looking at that case and possibly bringing action. I'm confident that we will bring action. But I'm also pleased that these 3 children in Jefferson County in upstate New York, along with their parent, they were working in a dairy farm. And they were picked up by ICE and detained. But as a result of protests from the residents in Jefferson County, about 1,000 of them, they were released.
BS. Okay, so what you're telling me is forget the laws and rules. If 1,000 people protest, then we can skip over immigration law and we can't deport someone. Oh, but in any other case, no one is above the law. Okay, so I got you. Protesting fixes everything, and you can break whatever law that you want. Go rob the bank as long as you get 1,000 protesters to come to protest, and then you'll get released. Let's continue on.
Partly because they protested in front of Mr. Honen's residence in upstate New York. And they were released, and so they're home. Those children are home and their parents are home. So, we will push back against these bullies. We will push back against these authoritarian forces and impulses. We will stand up for the rule of law. We've had a winning streak, which is why we are on the enemies list.
A winning streak? What are you winning? You're not winning anything. You're not winning a single thing. And so they're the bullies, not you. Now, that's interesting. So if you get 1,000 people to protest, you can get someone to stay in the country and ignore the rule of law, as long as you get 1,000 people to bully the courts, right? How much bullying did Big Tish do during the election season? How much bullying was there going on? I kind of remember her making several stump speeches about Donald Trump, about how he's too pale, too stale, too male. He's broken all kinds of laws, and oh my God, he's a felon. And I'm gonna wake up every morning and go straight to work with the goal of getting Donald Trump. It was the focus of her life. But you're telling me that they're bullying you. Well, that's an interesting concept. Let's carry on.
And I am, again, have been threatened, but it's really critically important that individuals understand that there are Democratic attorneys general who took oaths to our Constitution and to our constituents to do our job and to uphold the rule of law and the Constitution.
Okay, so uphold the rule of law and the Constitution. But you just said that if you get 1,000 protesters, we can ignore the rule of law and the Constitution, which doesn't cover the world's population. That covers U.S. citizens. Isn't it convenient how they can stand on rule of law when they get their way, when it's convenient for their interpretation, but when they're crying because someone is about to get deported because they came here illegally, well, hey, forget that rule of law. We'll just set that aside. Now, one thing that's interesting, she said that she's getting death threats and she has to have security and she's afraid for her life. Well, let me ask you this. How many times has a gunman made an attempt on your life, Big Tish? Now, if I remember right, there were 3 instances where gunmen were caught trying to end the life of Donald Trump. In fact, one bullet actually went through his ear. He had the blood to show for it. But you're telling me that you're fearing for your life. And you know what? You could probably put part of the blame on Big Tish and all of the rest of those that were involved in the lawfare. Because what did they do? They brainwashed everyone to believe that Donald Trump was Adolf, basically, and that we were going to be under authoritarian rule. Authoritarian rule. So everyone's scared because they think that we're going to turn into Nazi Germany. And then you get these extremists out there that make attempts on his life. But you're scared. You're scared. Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you. So we have a very interesting standard for those people that don't agree with the politics of Big Tish. Well, we can put labels on them. Like authoritarian dictators, we can call them Adolf, which to me is racist because Donald Trump has a daughter who was married to a Jewish man and has Jewish grandchildren. But we're going to turn around and call him Adolf. That's kind of racist. So you're telling me that we should allow people to pow him because he's Adolf, right? Okay. But he's got Jewish grandchildren. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's almost like we're cheapening what happened in Germany during World War II. And we're just going to use that to smear anybody that we don't agree with as far as their political viewpoints. Why isn't anyone bringing that up? That's so awful. That's like telling the family of Dr. Martin Luther King that Dr. King was Jim Crow or he was the head of the Ku Klux Klan because they don't agree with the politics. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Dr. Martin Luther King fought against racism, all right? So it wouldn't stand to reason that because you disagree with his politics that you could turn around and accuse him or his family members of being in the Klan. Doesn't make any sense. Now, let's play just a little bit more and then we're going to end this thing because I can't take it.
You just said you've been threatened. Do you mean legally? Do you mean in other ways as well?
I've been threatened personally. I've received death threats. But I can't be paralyzed by fear, Chris. I've got a job to do.
I can't be paralyzed by fear. I have no fear. I've got a job to do. Yeah, right. What's with all the stammering and stuttering? It looks like she is scared. I don't think that she should fear for her life. It might be scary. Okay, there might be some people that are going to go after you, but it's no fault but your own because you incited the fear in the people for thinking that Donald Trump was a monster, a complete and total monster, and none of that has come to pass. You know what? At the end of this 4-year term, if Donald Trump steps down, like he probably will, in fact, he even stated it on a recent news interview that at the end of the term, he's done. He's not running for a third term. He's just trolling people. So if he steps down, I wonder if anyone is going to remember all the rhetoric that came from this lady and a lot of the radical leftists who swore that Donald Trump is going to be a dictator and that there will never be another election and that he's just going to stay in office and never leave. Are we going to remember that? And should we believe anything that you say? It's like the boy who cries wolf. How much longer are we going to sit around and listen to this ridiculous rhetoric and then continue to believe anything that comes out of their mouths? So there's a Republican conservative. He's not really all that Republican, but there's a guy who's a conservative in office and you don't like it. So that doesn't mean that you scare the bar Jesus out of all of the population of the people who don't like him and make them think that they're all going to be sent to concentration camps. They're going to round up the Democrats. Yeah, I remember that too. They said that also. They're going to round up all brown-skinned people. They're going to put black people in prisons, concentration camps, and he will be the forever dictator. So I want you guys to save this video and in 3.5 years, 4 years, come back and let's look back on this and let's talk about it then and see if any of this ridiculous scare campaign really came to pass. You tell me what you think. That's all we got for this one. I've got more coming from this interview, so stay tuned and let me know if you are enjoying this content. That's all I got for now. This is Carlton, and I am out.